Hey everybody, it's me, Harold. Nah, it's not. It's me. It's Alex. Welcome back to 2 Weeks One Shot, a tabletop RPG variety podcast. Thanks for joining us today as we begin a whole new adventure in a whole new system. This time around, we're hiding in the shadows and baring our fangs in Vampire the Requiem 2nd Edition. All right, enough stalling. Let's get this thing going.
Each species of furry pirates breeds true, and there are no hybridized offspring, except among the different varieties of canine. In a modern society of furries, interspecies marriage might be acceptable, although a couple would have to resort to adoption or artificial insemination to have young.
Hey, Harold?
Yeah?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about furry pirates, Brian. It's the role-playing game that I brought in.
Wait. Why are we talking about furry pirates?
It's my mandate today.
No, wait.
I get to be the DM this time, the GM, the dungeon master. So I've decided to play this game. It's called Furry Pirates. I found it on the internet.
No.
Wait a minute. That's not what I came here to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it is my turn, right? I mean, I get to be we're all equal here, and I know I'm the crazy one, but I mean, I get to be the dungeon master this time, and I get to choose, right? So
I hate this.
In 18th century furry society, interspecies marriage is not done. Thus, in addition to considerations of rank, wealth, and political concerns, a marriage partner must be of the same species.
Okay. Let me chime in really quick. Now, I'm going to ask a question, but this does not promote what you were reading. Is there a timeline for this? Did you say 18th century?
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding.
What are we talking about right now? What is happening?
Furry pirates, Brian. Furry pirates.
In the 18th century?
Yeah. Well, when else are you supposed to be a pirate?
There's modern pirates.
You can be a pirate now. Like, there are pirates today. And there were pirates before then.
That is true. We could do a very modern Somalian pirate against the Umanis. Like we could very much do it up.
Maybe we shouldn't, but we could. I agree with you on that.
However, I did find a very colorful book by Lisa Breakley, a woman, and Bruce Thomas, I suppose, who was a separate person, who wrote a fantastic book called Furry Pirates, the swashbuckling adventure in the furry age of pirates.
In the furry age.
I forgot about that one.
Not like the furred age.
The furry age. You learned about the furry age of pirates, right? You didn't learn about that one?
Yes. Man has gone extinct. The age of man is done.
See, that was the decline of piracy. You had the golden age, then the furry age.
That's not a pun on anything. That's just saying, like, yeah, these are furries.
When marsupials and ungulates rode the high seas together in furry harmony.
Wait, but you just said that they weren't allowed to intermarry, so...
Well, that's why they had to become pirates.
They didn't believe in the rules, man. The freedom of the open sea.
Furry society does have to have some contention right there, and it's built in. You know, it's going to come to a head.
Harold, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if in the modern political climate we can go through with this.
Why, Brian? Why? What's wrong with Furry Pirates? This seems like a great game. It's really thought out. They have chapters on schooners and brigadines and genitals for your animal person.
Harold, I'll offer you this. I would play Furry Pirates using the mechanics and everything, because you seem excited about those.
Oh, yeah. You know me. I'm very excited about mechanics.
But we could lose the part where we are furries. How does that tickle your fancy?
Hey, Harold, can I play devil's advocate here really quick? Just, you know.
Oh, God. Okay.
What if we don't do that?
Yeah. You know what? That's actually, I really like that. You know what? That's probably better.
I am going to have to agree with the other two. I feel like maybe, because I'm going to be real with you, Harold. I wasn't prepared to play Furry Pirates tonight. That's not what we talked about. That's not what I was prepping for.
Hey, everyone, can I just see a show of hands really quick? Who wants to play Furry Pirates? Put your hands up.
Oh, Jumpkins, thank you for stepping up like that. I appreciate it. Jumpkins, everybody. Jumpkins is always here in the room, guys.
Jumpkins his votes don't count anymore.
Yeah.
We had that. We issued that ultimatum already.
Jumpkins, you get back in your closet. No. Jumpkins, bang!
And I have to say, Harold, I didn't see even you put your hand up there.
Yeah.
That's true. You left it all on Jumpkins. You left him out hanging dry, bud.
I'm feeling like maybe Furry Pirates is not, it's just not in the cards tonight, buddy.
You know, I mean, listen, Furry Pirates, I mean, for one, it seems like a challenge, but I think it's a challenge that we as a group and yet as a society too, we should meet.
Maybe it's a challenge we need to grow into. Though.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's like our end goal. That's why we play the games we play.
Nah. See, no,
in order to develop our. Hold on. What if this is like our multi-season arc? That like we're the meta plot of this whole thing, if you will, is that we are growing as role players to the point that we'll be able to tackle furry pirates.
Yeah, you know.
I just want to know, is there something about the experience of being a fun, furry, slightly homoerotic crew member with me on a ship? Is that something like unappealing to you for some reason, Brian?
Harold, I don't want to know about your Disney cruise, but let me just send you something real quick. How about this?
Oh God, the fierce sound of
he's sending you over our legal document, which you need to sign live right now.
Harold, if I can just answer your question real quick, I think the part about it that bothers me is, if I can be fully honest, I'm going to go with the furry part, because the rest of that is just pirates. I mean, pirates are fun. Pirates are homoerotic.
Pirates have genitals.
All of that is included in the package. I mean, I would have expected all of that.
They have a whole section on horseback riding, and they also include a paragraph on how to be a horseback rider and also how to be a horse at the same time.
I mean, that's interesting, and maybe we can explore that someday. I'm just saying, I just
think that's the type of hot content that our listeners are tuning in for, you know?
Harold, you keep on talking about like all the reasons, but like none of them have anything to do with being a furry. So I don't know if that's just like a mask, you know, but what's your dirge?
You're right.
It sounds like you really just want to like be pirates. Now, hold on, hang on. I think I have an understanding of something. Harold.
Yeah.
You want to play. You're attracted somehow to this furry pirates game, and I imagine it's because you want to do pirates, right? But they're not sexy enough. I think that's what you're driving at.
No, Brian. I just want to play the sexiest role-playing game I possibly can.
Well, Harold, I have good news for you.
Oh, God.
I know of a game that is far, far sexier than furries and pirates. And
that is hard to believe. I've gone through this book. That is hard to believe.
Harold, listen. Guys, back me up here. What's the one thing that's sexier than a pirate?
Furries. Wait, no. Sorry. Shit.
No.
Yep.
Guys, I think I'm turning. I think I'm starting to come around.
I rest my case. Thank you.
No.
This is now officially the Furry Pirates podcast.
No.
Thank you.
No, Alex, no. That is not. Guys, we discussed this earlier. We had a plan in case you tried to do this. We were gonna say.
I know, but it's working. It's I'm into it.
I'm going to be an undulate named Gary who's responsible for sweeping the poop deck.
Look, I sent him the thing.
But did you hear about the section where you can be a horse and ride a horse at the same time? I don't know, man. Just
sounds like, you know, humans doing like playing horsey. Like you can do that when you're anything.
Yeah, you can be a human riding a human. That's not anything special, Alex.
But there's also a sexual undertone that I think you're really missing. And I think it's good for us as a friend group and as an only male podcast.
Harold, would you mind? We're trying to discuss this.
Harold, what's better than sexual undertones? Sexual overtones.
Oh, God. Okay, what you got for me, Bray?
Oh, he's got you there.
Well, if you open the email I sent.
You sent me an email?
Yeah, check out that email John sent.
Jesus.
And I think you're going to find something really good in there, because like I started to say earlier, what's sexier than pirates?
Vampires.
Well, you don't have to say it with some enthusiasm.
Oh, it's vampires. Yay.
Yeah, vampires.
Yeah, vampires.
Vampires are sexy.
Come on, man.
Really?
Think about it. You got Dracula.
He's pretty hot.
You got Black Dracula.
Blackula's pretty hot.
Do you? Eddie Murphy, you mean?
You got Count Chocula.
Oof. On fire.
You got Nicolas Cage in that movie from like 1988.
I mean, okay, also, vampires are so 2005. I mean, that's all dated. I mean, we're living in a world of global warming. I don't want to wear leather.
And that means we can bring them back. Dude, that means we can be trendsetters.
Yeah.
All right, so let me open up this vampire book real quick. Hold on.
Listen, what if we just play it this 1 week, give it a try, see how it goes.
Vampire the Requiem. You want me to play Vampire the Requiem?
I want you to play Vampire the Requiem 2nd edition for 1 week. We're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna enjoy ourselves.
Okay. I mean, honestly though, Brian, I think this is revealing of your of a mindset and a mentality and something that's wrong with our culture, you know? Because if blood and tearing into the throats of your fellow man is sexy, then I don't understand what is not sexy about being a gazelle with hands who works side by side with his furry friends and sex buddies.
I don't have a good answer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2 Weeks One Shot, the tabletop RPG podcast where we play a one-shot campaign every 2 weeks from different tabletop RPG systems. My name is Harold, and I will be running tonight's campaign. Joining us at the table are my fellow denizens of the dark, the undead, the blood-sucking, the ghoulish, and, friends. Introduce yourselves, everybody.
You hear a rush of wind, the clap of thunder. There's footsteps behind you. It's me. It's Alex. It's me. Hey.
Hi, Alex.
Hey.
Out of the darkness comes, the John guy. Hi.
My name is Brian, or Helix Missionary. I've been here already. I was here before you guys got here.
He's been standing behind you the whole time.
No, I've just been on the chair here. I've just been sitting here. You just didn't notice me. How dare you?
Ouch.
Oh, let's dramatically turn the light on first, and then, there you are.
The light's been on. You turned up the dimmer switch a little bit.
For those joining us who are new to tabletop RPGs, a one-shot campaign is an adventure you play with a group of quote-unquote friends that begins and ends all in one sitting. Tonight's campaign will be played in Vampire the Requiem, 2nd edition, where I, the storyteller, give the players scenarios and settings in which they interact with the world and each other by using their skills as vampires or kindred to navigate the dreary and dangerous world of the night. Now, my creatures of the night, the sun has fallen, so let's get ready. Steady. Roll. Tonight's adventure is titled, In the Court of Her Bloody Majesty. It's London, January 2021. Brexit, the plague, pollution, and the long, slow demise of the sheltering constitutional monarchy have all taken their toll. It's the real London out there, you cunts. The human world may be constantly changing, but for you and your ilk, the Vampire Society of London remains as classy as ever. That is, until recently, as the pressures of change have brought turmoil to both the political structure of the human and vampire worlds. The ever-present Invictus, the traditional rulers and upholders of Vampire Society, now find themselves cast aside from power on the Blessed Isle by the surprising rise of a new matron of the Circle of the Crone into the royal family. The dreaded Princess of Night, Meghan Markle. Vampire Society has become a free-for-all. Meghan Markle and the Circle of the Crone have overturned much of the vampire world, spreading chaos and retribution to every corner of the Isle. In the darkest corners, Rumors have spread that the dread Princess Miracle has struck some sort of alliance with one of the most feared of the Covenants, the Seven, hoping to quickly eliminate any perceived enemies to her power. It's under these conditions that you receive an invitation at your coffin, or alternative sleeping container, to the esteemed abode of the Baron Von Grotanks, an elder in the Invictus, and a former close friend to the royal family. You, like all your brethren, find yourself in the flux of change. No matter your position or affiliation, you are on your own to protect your own life and aspirations. The invitation is a ceremony to induct new members into the Invictus Covenant, the coven which has so recently fallen out of power. Whatever your covenant or affiliation, such an invitation must mean that the Invictus see you as a vampire of some value they do not wish to fall out of favor with. Whatever your intentions, you decide to attend. You find yourselves in a shadowy and blustery night in the middle of January. You've received this invitation, and tonight is the night. My fellow kin, my brethren, my vampires of the evening, where do you find yourselves as you wake up in your coffin or, bathtub, wherever you keep yourself?
The calm of the night has settled. It is now time for the most malevolent of God's forgotten creatures to arise. That's right, the woodshed that is my tomb opens, and from it emerges Doug Peterson, suburban dad, vampire, and oyster card owner.
Doug Peterson, how did you find yourself here on this mysterious Isle of Britain?
Well, you see, Doug kind of moved a couple of years ago, wanted a little bit of a fresh change for him and his family. He's an expat, yeah. He's got his wife Marge, he's got his kid Judy and Tony, and for the love of G, he's gonna get them to graduate high school, or I guess as the British call it, secondary school. I think I'm learning.
They do. Yeah, our listeners will probably tell us.
They'll probably tell us and get angry and wonder why the hell am I making this voice? It's almost like someone picked a setting that I'm not good at making accents for, so then I made up a different accent that I'm less bad at, but still pretty gosh darn bad at.
Hey, you know what? You're lucky, because next week we're doing this all in India. It's South Delhi as the next setting.
Let me introduce you to my character for next week. His name is Doug Peterson.
Well, Doug Peterson, do you know how you've become a vampire?
Well, you see here, Doug likes to keep a community garden, and one night during his gardening, he likes to garden at night, I guess that's the fiction I'm going with, he was suddenly embraced by another gangrel, which is a kind of like animalistic vampire. Unfortunately, though, that gangrel did just kind of, kiss and run, very ungentlemanly like, but Doug is now finding his way in the world as a brand new vampire and has dedicated his nighttime activities to establishing the most effective neighborhood watch that London has ever seen. He mainly takes care of kind of the scum of the earth in the neighborhood, right? Like graffiti artists, jaywalkers, people who think it's fashionable to leave one shoe untied, and most bicyclists. Scum of the earth,
I get that. Yeah, night bikers are crazy, dude.
What business do they have being out on the streets at night? It's like you're just asking for it.
Yeah, I mean, all the blinking lights is just distracting. Like, it just makes me want to hit you.
Yeah, I might as well be eating and sucking their blood, but I gotta keep my neighborhood safe.
So you're not, like, using your neighborhood watch as, like, a feeding source?
Well, here's the conundrum that Doug finds himself in, right? On one hand, the good Lord does preach the whole nonviolence, but on the other hand, I am a creature of the night sustained by the blood of the innocent. So I split the difference and I eat them.
That's good. That's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I have to remember to be British as I do my narration and stuff.
I like your accent. It's really nice.
Thank you. I went to many schools to learn how to make accents like this one. Let us see if you have any other friends in the night. Friends, kindred. You guys aren't really friends per se, more of associates in blood. Blood is such a gross thing. Such a weird, topic to continually have to mention all the time. It must get tiring.
It's real sticky.
Real sticky, and honestly...
I think that blood is rather beautiful.
Who is this here? Who joins us in the evening?
Hello, my name is Fred. Fred Allen. Or you may call me Ravenswing.
Oh, Ravenswing, yes, the ancient vampire Ravenswing. Where are you now, Ravenswing?
Indeed, I was turned in the mystical time of 1993. I am currently in my abode. I own a little mausoleum in my family plot, and I stay there most nights. My mother questions, ever since I've started this undead life, so I just told her that I found a new place, and I live on my own now.
And does your mother know that you've entered the Society of the Night?
Oh, goodness, no. No, that would scare her half to death. And I'm full to death, so I would know. It's not great.
I understand. Mr. Ravenswing, you have a bit of an air of superiority about you. Is there an ancient origin to your lineage?
Well, I don't know about all that, but my maker was Ventru, and I'm Ventru. He, was around for a little while, then he went to America. So I'm kind of just here by myself. The Ventru tend to be, like you said, standoffish. But I just enjoy the domination powers.
Kinky.
So I didn't get much of that in life.
No, I get that. Army Hammer over here.
No.
Good response.
Okay, I guess that's it. Oh, wait, what's that?
Me?
You.
Me.
You. Who are you?
Oh. In a dreary basement. In a bopping South London flat. There awakens Marcus Fishman, who is not a fishman, but he is a vampire, and he does have a somewhat fishy look about him, it must be said. The eyes are a little bulging and watery. The mouth is a little bit strange looking. There are things that might be gills along the neck, but we don't worry about those, and you can't see them as long as you're wearing a mask, like all the little boys and girls should be when they're going out and about. And Marcus Fishman rises from a spare futon with a dirty mattress and throws on his shit-kicker boots and stands up in the clothes he was wearing yesterday. Last night, really.
And every day.
And throws on his jacket, throws on 2 masks.
Nice.
One's a little lower than the other to help, cover the gills.
Well,
and double masking is good for your health.
Dr. Fossey would approve, of course.
Yeah, of course. And he heads on out into the ground floor room, which has a few college-age layabouts hanging out. There's a lot of political posters on the wall. They are not for any particular political agenda. In fact, they go around the entire spectrum, and anyone watching might get the sense that these kids, they care more about the idea of protesting than any cause that they might be protesting. But that's fine. They got the spirit, and that's what Marcus Fishman likes about him.
So anti-Brexit.
Well, there's mostly anti-Brexit, but then there's also one, very curious poster up on the wall about, how that would be good. Put England first, and feels a little out of place, but you know what? That's fine. Everybody's having a good time.
Boris Johnson strikes me as a vampire, honestly, if you see his face.
Yeah.
Kidding me if you see that haircut.
And, the guys, they're sitting around, and he slaps them 5, and they exchange a little bit of banter before Marcus is heading out for the night. And he does toss them, shuffling through the pockets of his jacket. He does find a small baggie of we'll call it narcotics and leave it at that, and he tosses it to one of them, and they give him a cheer. They raise their pints and toast, and Marcus slips out into the night to get a quick top off before heading over to this summons that we have all received.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Allow me to ask, does Marcus hold any does Marcus hold any affiliations outside of his political endeavors?
Well, it's interesting that you ask, because his political endeavors are some would say, his affiliations. Marcus is, as I sort of hinted at earlier with his strange appearance, of the Nosferatu clan. So he does tend to come off as like a little bit creepy. He's got some rather grotesque facial features that he's been enjoying the whole, masking during COVID thing, because it lets him, enjoy a little bit of the nightlife and the social life that he was used to. But Marcus is a member of the Carthian movement. He is a vampire political activist. Now, some people might claim that, like his friends in the apartment, or the flat, Marcus is more in it for just the general vibe of revolution than actually believing in the cause. Some people might even go so far as to say that that's how he became a vampire in the first place, because he was out, on the streets during the women's suffrage movement in Britain.
Tight.
And making big noise and shouting. And, some people might cast aspersions on his character, saying that he was doing it because he thought he might be able to, win some points with some of the honeys who were out there fighting for the right to vote. And maybe that's true. But Marcus Fishman he'll be a believer in any cause you want to be. If you just rile him up enough, he'll get on it. He's a mover, he's a shaker, and that's why he's on the streets tonight.
Awesome.
Because clearly, he's the kind of guy that you want on your side.
Marcus, I love your British accent. I'd love to hear more.
Well, Marcus, being from the section of the city that he is, he's got a bit of that sort of Cockney, but these days they almost call it the chav accent, know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Absolutely.
Innit? Yeah.
I'm from Texas.
I'm from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, really. So this is new for all of us.
I'm from wherever this sounds like.
Sure. That's certainly something, Alex. I don't know where that's from.
Neither do I, but I did watch Fargo before we recorded.
Wow.
Maybe it's from Fargo.
It sounds like if Fargo were in Texas.
Yeah, Fargo in the Panhandle.
But yeah, so that's Marcus. That's Marcus Fishman.
Well, gents, the time has arrived. The path is clear. You know where to go and who you're meeting. How do you get there?
Marcus will move through the night as any true native and denizen of the darkness of London does. He's gonna walk and take the underground and, public transportation, because cars are expensive. And last time he rode a bicycle, Doug yelled at him, so...
Marcus finds the streets of London blistery, cold, and covered in ice. People are mean, and there's not really wearing the masks as much as they ought to.
All a bunch of bullshit in it.
Let's not get into that one.
Honestly. Marcus does call people out as he walks down the street. He points at him. He flips him the bird. Wear your mask. Over the nose. Come on. Works for him better if everyone is wearing masks. So he's all for it.
What a strangely, oddly, and rewarding time it would be to be a vampire right now. I mean, with everybody to be online.
No, honestly, for a Nosferatu, this has been a beautiful, going on 7 months now. I mean, it's been a really good time.
I mean, it's 11 months, but whatever.
More than that.
Well, it's 11. I don't know how long. I don't know when quarantine started in Britain.
When we release this podcast, it'll be about 7 years, yeah.
And whatever the case, ever since the idea of covering 60% of your face, Marcus is all for it. That's really a good time for him.
Very good.
Because it means that people only have to be creeped out by the general sense of unease that he brings, rather than being oh, what's up with the gross freaky fucking fish guy. You didn't get to go out like this before.
It's a hard world for a fish person.
Yeah.
Fred, how do you traverse the night?
Fred will also take the tube. It's probably the easiest thing to do. No sunlight. I mean, it's nighttime, but...
Sure. I mean, just double safe. It's like wearing 2 condoms.
It's not terrible to get trapped down there, It's a good resource.
I bet it's a lovely system. I've been on the New York subway. That thing needs an update. But I hear good things about London. Doug, how do you traverse the city of the night as one of the people of the night?
Doug Peterson dons his vampire attire, which is some high-waisted shorts, a sensible button-down, and a vest because it's a little chilly out, with a fanny pack holding one of his aforementioned vampire powers, an oyster card. For he too shall take the dreaded tube in the middle of the night.
Fantastic. Well, you all find yourselves at the location that was requested. Baron Von Grotanks' estate, just a block or two away from the palace of our great queen. You turn the corner, see the abode, You approach and notice no lights on in the building. Natural, of course, for a vampire. Your vampire instincts pull you aside to the alleyway around the building. And at the end of the alleyway, you see a light. A man standing ahead of a door.
Oh, that can't be for us. We don't need lights.
Well, it's a sort of like a welcoming thing. But, I totally hear you. I hear you.
Wait, so are we all together at this point? Or are we sort of arriving one by one because of the notorious tube?
Oh, yes, of course. The notorious tube has left you in all sorts of toddy states.
Damn the tube.
Only Doug, with his most recently human feet and his street sense, arrives on time. Dougie boy, you find yourselves in the alleyway, staring down a strange man by a door.
I scan him up and down. I use my keen, newly attuned vampire senses to try and feel if this man is one of the unalive, if he is aliven't, as the vampires like to say.
Yes, why, of course. Your highly attuned vampire's senses instinctually feel the presence of another kindred in your presence. You feel the rush of blood as the beast inside you tells you to kill, as any vampire feels when they approach one of their own. You see a man of dark features, of a cool haircut and dark sunglasses and a really awesome leathery, plasticky, like trench coat looking thing.
Holy shit, it's Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah, kinda. It's like the same look pretty much. Yeah. He's like shirtless mostly and like looking real badass and stuff, and he's like muscles.
He looks much sexier than Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah, he's like super sexy, and he's got like the cool haircut that's kind of like a fade, but it's also like shaped into stuff, and yeah.
That's a pretty cool haircut, very stylish, super vampire, like much like Doug's comb over, very, very vampire chic.
Yes, the vampires are vain, indeed. Well, Doug, what do you do? The man quite slowly turns his head and acknowledges your presence with a hard stare.
I stare back at him and I say, "Good evening, fellow man." Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Very good. As any good vampire would know, the first tradition that any vampire must uphold is the masquerade. One must not reveal their true nature to those not of the blood. Doing so forfeits your claim to vampireness. Now, can you confirm who you speak to?
I recognize it by the haircut. I know how do I know he's a vampire?
The man of some resemblance to a 1999 comic book franchise looks at you and says, "Good evening, good sir. May I help you?"
I don't know if one such as I can be helped, but I do have an invitation.
Oh? And where or to who does your invitation invite you to? Sorry, mate. It's really difficult to speak with this kind of high, sort of falutin way of speaking. It's very uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, you're telling me. I got an invitation here. It's from a guy, Baron Von Grotanks. Baron Van Grotanks. That's what it says.
Mate, I'm not allowed to let you in unless you do give me like some of the propers here. Give me like my master. He's in the Invictus, mate. So you have to do this right now. Come on.
I got an invitation, and it's got, I'm sure, what is your master's name on it. I can't wait. Hold on. Let me look through my fanny pack. Okay, I've got some chapstick, very important. I've got the Pez dispenser, just for the funds, and got my floss, just because gotta keep the fangs clean and everything. Here we go. There's the envelope. I received this in the vampire mail. I'm not sure how it got to me, but I received it, and I'm here at the address. I didn't know vampires used addresses, but I'm still learning. I'm getting better at it. And I hand him the invitation.
Ah, right. You're the one. You must be the Doug, of course. No, it's totally fine, sir. We all know you're new. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
I wasn't ashamed, but I okay, all right.
Listen, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know, I too have to hide myself. You know, I'd rather be naked here in the middle of the street, flashing my beautiful, sexy body. But, you know, my employer insists I wear this cape, and, you know, I don't feel any cold. Anyway, why don't you come on inside?
I feel like you're finding a common sense of ground here that doesn't exist, but that's whatever. That's okay.
Welcome to my life, Doug. The man of leather and sexuality opens the door for you and says, "Please, Mr. Peterson, well, come on inside."
Thank you very much. I will await. Do you have some Fanta or maybe like a Dr. Pepper, some pop?
Oh, don't worry, sir. Refreshments will be served eventually.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love the orange Fanta. I hope you have that. And I go inside.
They don't have that in England. That's a North American thing.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But they do have kumquat.
Gross, Harold. They have cum flavored Fanta?
Cum twat? Is that what you said? We really are getting British.
Cum twat, Harold? Gross.
I can't believe you would say that.
Kumquat. I think it's a type of cucumber. I don't know. What's like a British fruit? Do they have fruit in Britain? Probably not.
I'm not convinced they do.
Figs.
I guess potato Fanta, maybe. We'll get to the cum later, too. Don't worry.
God.
Just as Doug enters the room, Freddy boy, you find yourself looking down a similar alleyway.
Oh, it's a different one.
Well, no, it's the same one. It's similar as in it's the same one.
Similar. The same, in fact.
It's the same, in fact, indeed. I've lost my British accent again. A man closes the door underneath a small light and turns to look at you and stares in your direction.
Hello, I believe I've been summoned.
Pulls out his invitation.
Right, yes, the great Fred Ravenswing Island. We've been expecting you, sir. My master has been very excited to finally introduce himself to you. If you could just simply wait inside, you will be joined this evening by another compatriot. And do be careful. The vampire waiting in the room inside is quite powerful.
Very well, thank you.
And then he'll go inside.
Oh, hey there. Good to see you.
Oh, hello.
Door closed.
Marcus, you find yourselves down an alleyway that looks so similar to the alleyway that your other friends found because it is the exact same alleyway.
It's as similar as any two alleyways that are the same alleyway can be.
That's exactly how I would put it, exactly. Also, you know, the guy who's been opening the door and stuff, he's closing the door again, and there he is, fresh for you, looking at you.
Also similar to the other guy?
Pretty much like the same guy.
Man, wow. Crazy. Yeah, Marcus, is just sort of sidling up the alleyway. He's got his, hands in his pockets, looking like he's sort of taking in the night. And he sidles up to the guy and just sort of comes to a stop near him and gives him a nod. Nice night, hey chum.
Oh, yes, sir. Lovely evening.
You just hanging about then?
Of course, sir. Unless, is there something I can help you with?
Well, I could go for, I don't know, maybe a couple ounces of Summit.
Are you asking me for drugs, sir?
Nah, mate, I'm taking the piss. I'm here for a meeting. I'm here. I got a letter.
Oh.
And I'm supposed to be here for some Mr. Greta Van Fleet, something like that.
That's a very good band. They're fun. They're quite fun. But no, sir, I'm afraid there's no Greta here. Do you have an invitation?
Oh, well, that ain't the name then. And Marcus, he pats himself down and he's checking pockets. And he finds the invitation in an inside pocket, and it has some pretty obvious beer stains on it. And it looks like somebody set their bottle or can on it and left it for a while. But he brushes it off. It's not wet. It has some other dust and shit on it. But he slaps it a couple times and unfolds it and holds it up. Oh, Von Grotanks. Is that Von Grotanks? Von Grotanks?
Yes.
I guess.
Mr. Fishman.
You already know who I was, and you're having me pull up my invitation.
Of course, sir.
Now you're taking a piss, mate.
Well, that's kind of how it is sometimes, mate. We're vampires. We can't just start a conversation about being vampires in the middle of the alleyway.
Yeah. Listen, mate. We're both vampires, so how about you cut me a fucking break, and I'll cut you a break, eh? Why are you giving me old reach around here?
All right, fine, but in London these days, there are cameras everywhere. We can't just go about talking about it. We're supposed to be in.
We're not going to show up on the cameras. We're vampires.
You're right. There is a whole system about how it is mostly blurry and digital content. Okay.
Yeah, and you can't really hear what we're saying very well, and you can't put faces to names and names to faces.
It's difficult. My YouTube channel has really, really suffered.
Yeah. Marcus just nods that. He's like, yeah, exactly, mate.
Welcome. My master, Baron Von Grotanks, is very excited to meet you.
Is Baron the first name, or is that a title?
Both, actually.
Oh, really? Wow.
Baron Von Grotanks.
So he's Baron Von Grotanks.
Ironically enough, he's inbred into his own family, so his name is Baron Von Grotanks.
Really?
Yes.
They felt the need to hyphenate.
You know how it is in British society.
Well, that's pretty fortuitous, ain't it, mate?
Everything for the blood, you know? His mother's quite the looker.
Call that genuinely, what's the word? Copacetic, innit?
Yes, copacetic indeed. Is that a British word to you?
Well, listen, mate, I never got through grammar school proper, so let's just move on. Can you let me in or not?
Yeah, mate.
All right. By the way, what am I getting into in here? Do you know? Because the letter just said, show up this day, this night, this time, and all that. And here I am, but I'm not sure. What's this all about then?
Well, sir,
because it just says something about I'm a very important fella, which. I mean, I'm glad someone recognizes it, because it seems like a lot of these blokes out here don't, but...
Naturally. Well, sir, if I could just lead you inside, I'll tell you. And your compatriots here.
Compatriots?
Yes, he opens the door and shows you, Doug and Fred.
Dougie P?
Hey!
Salutations.
Is that Dougie P and Freddy the Nonce? Oh my lord, what a display!
Brian is so good at that voice. I could never do a Cockney accent. Like, seriously, I'm barely pulling off whatever the hell Doug is. Anyway, let's do some quick shout-outs. First, to rolemusic for providing our awesome intro song titled The River. Also, to One Man Symphony for the additional scene music throughout the episode. Find them on Bandcamp and Patreon. And to the contributors at freesound.org for all the sound effects and ambient noises you're hearing throughout the episode. Be sure to check the show notes for more info and links to all the music in the episode. And hey, once you're done with this episode, you should really listen to How Not to DM. Brian, aka Helix Missionary, was recently interviewed, and it is magnifique. Visit linktree.com/HN2DM. That's linktree.com/HN2DM. For more of us here at Twoscast, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Twoscast. That's TWOS Cast, and use hashtag Twoscast to say hello. To hear the show, head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Google Podcasts. And if you leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, we will give you a shout out on the show. And if you're listening on Spotify or Podbean, hit the follow button to hear our episodes as they come out. So stick around to hear the rest of our dark adventure in Vampire the Requiem 2nd Edition, and tune in for the next episode of our adventure on July 13th. Okay, time for us to do more vampire stuff like riding the tube and sleeping on futons.
Dougie remembers me.
It's that hooligan that I tried to get off the bike that one time. How you doing?
Yeah. You know his name? You remember his name, right? The hooligan's name?
It's Marcus. I got you written here in my ledger.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I signed your little book of trespasses and all that.
So how you been doing? You still making trouble?
Oh, you know us, mate. I mean, there's always trouble to be found, trouble to be had. And wherever I go, the trouble follows. You know how it is.
You're responding to this like I think trouble's a good thing. That's troubling to me. All right.
Yeah, see what I mean? I come and the trouble comes after. You know what I mean.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and Freddy, what have you been doing? You still sleeping in a grave?
Well, yes.
You still sleep in your mum's tomb?
Well, it's not my mom's. It's
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be.
my mom's alive.
Yeah, I know. I saw her last Wednesday. Ah!
Oh shit, that was a pretty good burn there. That was ouch.
Ah, good jokes all around.
You were at the market.
And you know what? He pitched it right up the middle, and he bowled it right up the middle, because that's what they call it in cricket.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
A bowl.
Yes.
He bowled it right up the middle, and I did whatever cricket people do with it.
Called the burn unit, because that's a stinger.
Sure, yeah. Oh man, so what are you blokes doing here? You got gold too, eh?
Yeah, I got a letter at my woodshed, and well, I came by. I spoke to the very friendly chosen one Neo outside.
He did look like the savior of everything.
I was gonna, you know what? I kept trying to think. The picture he painted with, like the chiseled chest and the black coat and the sunglasses and the hair. He reminded me a lot of Neo, but sexy.
It's very sexy Neo. Yeah.
I happen to have based my whole look off a certain franchise that made 3 incredible movies.
Right.
I'm sure you did, mate. And you know what? I'm glad that it's seeing through. And a lot of people say that the second and third not quite as much, especially the third one. Me, I think they did all right.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds was a dead weight for so many years, you know?
Was he in The Matrix? I don't remember.
No, yeah. He played that Morpheus character, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
No, wait. He was the
How could you?
yeah, the Ryan Reynolds was the Trinity, right?
Yes.
I don't know why the idea of Ryan Reynolds as Morpheus is so funny.
It's so insulting.
God.
My kids watched The Matrix. I slept through most of it.
Oh, man, you got to watch at least the first one all the way through at some point. It's pretty good.
You know, I saw the ending. I saw the bit where he flies away. I'm assuming he flies through most of the movie in the first one, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Perfect.
Well, your Matrixy pre-2001 looking friend in the room that looks to you and says, now that I have you all here in private, I can tell you that my master, Baron Von Grotanks, has called you in here, hoping that you will become new members of the Invictus Covenant. You see, the Invictus have fallen into bad times here on the island, as our political standing has wavered under new powers. Meghan Merkel, that new princess, is causing all sorts of problems, and well, we're hoping to increase our ranks if possible. I'm sure you'll find Baron Von Grotanks' offerings to you quite exquisite.
Well, mate, I'm happy to hear you out, and I'm happy to be here and maybe offer some, thoughts on the process and all that. But being completely honest up front, I am card-carrying member of the Carthian movement. I've got a card on me. I do have it on me. And Marcus, he goes into his wallet and he pulls out a card that, it's made on cardstock and it was run through a laminator, but not super professionally.
Man, I was kind of hoping we could have an American Psycho business card moment. But
you know what? If you all were members of the Carthian movement, maybe we could. But he pulls it out, and it looks handmade. Honestly, it looks like he made it himself, probably. And it does say, Carthian movement, member in good standing. And down in one corner there is the word probationary that's been crossed through with a Sharpie.
Tight.
It says, so, I can offer my thoughts on everything. I'm happy to be like a political consultant of sorts. You know what I mean?
Why, yes, sir, we know all about your standing with the Carthian movement, and in fact, that's why you've received this invitation. We see the Invictus hope to continue to use your keen sense of political prowess in this new modern world. After all, the Invictus and the Carthians have been allies in the past. There's no reason for us to not be now.
You know what? Whenever there's a big enough problem out there, we're willing to pitch in. So as long as you don't get all high and mighty, too much of that old blood, keep it classy nonsense, and you're willing to listen to some new ideas every now and again, you got a winner.
If I could just tell you, personally, I signed on maybe about 6 months ago, mid-pandemic. I was looking for new employment. Things were changing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything's been shaken up.
And I have to say, my time with the Invictus has been fantastic. Incredible perks.
Well, now you're starting to sound like you're doing one of them MLM pitches to me, and I'm not sure all about that, but I'm willing to hear him out. So I'll meet the guy.
Doug is in my downline.
Though, I have to say, I think the Vampire Society is MLM. Like, you have to, somebody gets you, and then you get a couple others, and they look up to you, and...
Well, yeah, but you're not supposed to really be doing that all willy-nilly, right? Whole second rule thing and all that.
Well, you're supposed to do it smartly, right? I mean, you don't want to lose a profit, right?
I mean, yeah.
Vampire Society is an MLM. I think we learned something very important here today.
There we go. If you become a vampire, you truly do become your own CEO.
Yeah, but hey, guys, aside on the podcast, I've got this really great business opportunity for all of us.
Okay. Are you going to turn us into vampires?
Is it essential oils?
Oh, so you've heard of it already. Okay, so that's good. That's like half of my pitch.
It's called Essential Vampires.
It's called Essential Vampires. You meet me in a back alley. I bite you.
Oh, God.
But then you give me $5 every month. But you bite other people and they give you $5 every month. And then you just keep giving me $5 every month. And I make money, I think.
You do. You definitely do. And they don't. That's definitely how that works.
Because then I give $5 to somebody above me, and then they give $5. Wait.
And that person is L. Ron Hubbard. Scientology joke. You can cut that one. That was dangerous. Okay.
Not really.
Nah, I don't think we have to worry about that.
Hey, I'm new in LA. They got a building right over there.
In fact, I'd like to go on record. I've been our apology, guys. Let me go on record right now. Say, I do not apologize to Scientology for anything we have done or anything we do after this.
Yo, they run Spotify. Now, the man who's been here with you, he leads you on through the hallways in this dark and, of course, traditionally vampire building, painted with a kind of a dark reddish kind of color. There's heavy curtains that are mostly also red. It's very sexy.
I love what you've done with all the cobwebs. Are these from Target or from or the British Target equivalent?
Oh, no, they're all imported spiders, because I guess, spiders in London are crappy, so we had to go get some new ones.
I think, this is just my taste, but I think this wall right here would be perfect for, a big splash of, someone real good looking saying that war is bad. You know what I mean? I think that would be beautiful right here on this wall.
I you know what, Matt? I hear you, but this is really more of a regal sort of tone. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to lead you into a hallway where you're going to see some very, very large portraits of the Queen and the vampire kings and queens. So, don't get offended or anything like that. It's sort of our vibe.
Oh, no. Listen, mate, I'm not going to get offended by them.
I of course you're not.
They're just pictures.
You're a savvy political mover, and that's why we like you. Anyway, here we go. Moving along.
Down that entire hallway, Marcus points at every painting on the wall and just says, cunt.
I love it.
Douche, cunt, douche.
Was that one's a man? Oh, right.
No, every single one. It's just cunt, 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 cunt. Every single one. It doesn't, they could be from any party. They could be from any clan. They could be human or vampire. They all get the exact same treatment.
You're quite the political activist.
I really should have made Margaret Thatcher into a vampire. I guess maybe it's not too late. I'll work on it.
Yeah, you missed a good one there.
Who's to say she's not?
Call into our Patreon and demand Margaret Thatcher be a character in this podcast.
Wait, is our Patreon phone base? Dial 999.
Well, yes, of course. Call in tonight with your donations.
Yeah, the $5 level gets you Harold's personal phone number.
Alex, have you not been manning the phone on your nights?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, no. I just keep getting missed calls. I assume they're from my mom, so I just ignore them.
Uh-oh.
That's where all our money goes. This incredibly sexy man who does not look anything like any movie you've ever seen before walks you down this hallway into a vast chamber of, what do you call the welcoming chamber before you enter, the dining area? It's like a British thing, right? Not the salon.
Antechamber. Yeah.
Yes. He leads you into a grand antechamber.
The arch nemesis of the regular chamber.
Right? You're so mean. So he leads you into a very grand and mean antechamber that you quickly notice is missing a very key component. And your tour guide turns to you and says, sorry, mates. We just happen to be doing some renovations here, changes during pandemic and all. There happens to be a big old spike trap here. Not to be surprising, it's a bit obvious here. In the old days, we'd have Scooby-Doo-like kids coming in here trying to solve mysteries or kill vampires, and they all end up down there. So, mind your step. Don't fall into the pit. You're gonna, find yourself amidst a bunch of bones of teenagers from the 1970s. So, if you could just perhaps, use your powers of the night as you have, of course, and just whisk yourself over the hole here. I'm supposed to fix it, but if you could just do me the favor here. I might have some boards around here if you'd like to balance across, of course, but...
Well, yeah, mate, I was gonna say, mate, you might want to get on that, because you are kind of, missing the floor.
Ironically enough, I honestly spend very little time walking. I've figured out the whole turning into a bat thing, and I've really sort of enjoying that sort of experience. Bat! And he, turns into a bat and, flies away.
Well, that's all good for you and Dougie here, but for the rest of us who don't really do that sort of thing, I'm not opposed to jumping across if I got to, but it would be nice if there was a floor. I'm not talking red carpet, all that. I'm just talking, a floor.
Oh, sir, please don't see this as a bad thing for the Invictus. I mean, naturally, most of these old buildings and castles have these sort of traps and conditions.
Listen, all I got to say is when I go to the coffee and movement parties, we always have a floor in our homes, so, there's always space to stand when we have meetings.
The Carthians don't own anything that anybody else wants to steal, so... excuse me. All right.
Listen, just because we rent our spaces, don't mean there ain't nothing worth taking. You wouldn't imagine the things I've nicked from meetings. Now, don't tell them I said that, but,
Your tour guide, the incredibly attractive and erotic African-American version of Neo from the movie Matrix, leaps across the whole fine example of vampire prowess.
Oh.
As he rolls high on his check.
He didn't even need political rap rock that time.
Yeah, he just went for it. That's pretty good of him. Anyway, Dougie, you're up.
I feel like earlier you said something about me turning into a bat. I don't think I have that sort of power, but
Well, not yet maybe, but I'm figuring you'll get there at some point.
There's all sorts of vampire powers you can use to traverse and deal with problems, right?
I'm working on it, I'm getting there.
Well, what can you do, Dougie? Can you jump across this fucking pit or not?
Well, maybe if I stretch the old hammies, yeah, for sure. Okay, then.
Sure.
And Dougie does a couple of lunges. And maybe as Dougie lunges, Harold, could you tell us a little bit about rolling in Vampire the Requiem 2nd edition?
Yeah, of course. So Vampire the Requiem 2nd edition. It's a pretty unique rolling system that I guess is part of the whole White Wolf World of Darkness system, where rolling is done by pools of die 10s on relevant traits and skills. So die 10 dice pools are usually determined by an attribute plus a skill. So you'd be taking your strength plus your skill check to do most things that you have to do in this game. Not strength, but you know what I mean. Dice that fall between 8 and 10 are successes, while dice underneath is, not a success. There's different variants of failure, but only 8 and above is a success. And honestly, that sounds pretty easy, but sometimes it ain't.
And is there any sort of critical hit system, with, D20 games where you roll a 20, if something special happens? Do we get anything if we roll a 10?
Yeah, dice that fall on 10 are rolled again. And if it falls on 10 again, you can count another success on top of that roll. And again, until you stop rolling a 10. Yeah, so if you roll a 10 and a 10 and a 10 and a 10 and a 10, you can do some crazy stuff and, one hit somebody if you like. It's a cool way to do a critical.
All right. In this instance, I'm going to jump, which is listed under common actions inside of the book. And I'm seeing here it's strength plus athletics. So I have a 4 in strength and I have a 2 in athletics. So I'm going to roll 6d10.
And how many successes does he need? Just if he gets one, he's good to go, or?
So this is a skill check challenge that I've created for you, and I'm going to make it simple, right? It's just a hole in the ground. So I'm going to make this a moderate challenge, which is set by the DM, but in this case, I'm setting a challenge of 2 die 10. So he needs to get 2 8s or above to beat this challenge.
Oh boy, okay. All right, here it goes. Okay, so what happens if none of those was a success?
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
Well, good. We need an example of a failure, and I'm in.
Okay, so what did you roll exactly?
I rolled a lot of numbers that are all below 8.
Oh, no.
All of them. All 6 dice below 8.
Wow. Brutal.
That's rough.
Some would call that unlikely, given that I have 6 dice to work with.
Yeah, they might call it a statistical anomaly.
Well, Dougie P, you leap into the air using your fresh vampire senses. But of course, you're such a baby vampire, your vampire senses are a little, I don't know, bad.
Yeah, I'm so baby.
You're so baby, of course, look at you. You jump so high and so tall that you kind of go straight back down. So, okay, you didn't succeed, but Vampire the Requiem 2nd edition is a pretty unique system where a failure doesn't necessarily mean a full-on failure. So it just means you don't get what you want. So, Doug Peterson, being the baby vampire that he is, launches himself into the night with such strength and force in his jump that he whacks his head on the ceiling 50 feet up
Oh, jeez. My head on the ceiling.
and falls back down and barely catches on the ledge on the other side.
Oh, jeez.
Dougie, what were you doing? Why did you... Why?
I guess I went up instead of across. You know, maybe I stretched out the hammies a little too good.
Well, Dougie, do you want me to throw you across? Do you want me to get over there and then we'll throw you a line or something?
I heard there was maybe some plywood that we can put down.
Yeah, Neo over there. You got any boards? I can come over and help you with them if you need.
I mean, I can just pull them up if you like. You see her right in front of me.
Please help me.
No, I'll come over and give you a hand.
All right, I'll just leave him here hanging then, I suppose.
Yeah. I got to show off what you brought me around, mate. I got to, live up to the expectations.
You're right. After all, he did just make a massive fool of himself, so I suppose my confidence in you all is starting to shake a little bit. I said y'all as though that's something that people in Britain say.
Well, here's the thing, mate, is I ain't no Dougie P. I'm Marcus Fishman.
My hands are starting to slip. Please expedite this process.
Oh, right. Wait, hang on.
Dougie is known for his sweaty palms.
I'm so nervous.
All right, well, Marcus is going to jump over to help him up then. So let me...
Don't step on my toes.
Doug, I saw the poster once with a kitten hanging from a branch. It said, "Hang in there." I thought that might help you.
I'm doing my best, Ravenswing. Thank you. This and Mondays, I will survive.
So Marcus is gonna jump over. So that's strength athletics. But Harold, I think I have a discipline that might be helpful here.
A discipline, eh?
Yeah. So disciplines are, as you know, obviously.
Of course. What are disciplines?
Well, they're like they're the special vampire powers that we have, right? Like, you because all the typical vampire powers are here, the stuff where you can like look in someone's eyes and command them and enthrall them, or speak to animals, or turn into one, or one of mine is vigor, which is just you be strong, because that's what vampires be, They're strong.
I've seen vigor. There's also obfuscate, which makes you sneaky. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I also do have that one.
Ooh, you're strong and sneaky.
Which I'll probably be using that at some point here.
Maybe.
But for right now, I think I mainly need to use vigor, because vigor does 2 things, I think, that are useful here. Vigor has a passive effect that I get to add my rating in vigor, which is measured in dots like everything else in the game, for the most part. So I get to add my vigor dots to my strength dots to determine the overall rating I have for dice pools. But I also it also makes it easier to jump. So normally you can jump I think it's 1 yard per success basically. So that's why this would be 2 successes needed to get across our 2 yards here, or meters, I suppose. But vigor makes it so that you multiply your successes by your vigor plus 1, I think. Your vigor rating plus 1. So essentially what that means is because I have 1 dot in vigor, I get to add an extra dot to my strength, and I get to multiply my successes by 2 to determine how far I can jump.
Yes, that sounds correct to me as well.
Are you doing okay over there, Harold?
I put these pens in my mouth to make myself feel more like a vampire, but I feel more like a walrus instead.
Yeah, I thought you were starring in the Kevin Smith film Tusk, but that's
Ooh, that was a fun movie.
Was it?
No.
All right, so I guess what I'm doing here is I guess I'm rolling 5 d10s.
Yeah.
And I need 1 success.
Not as cool as 6 d10s, but whatever.
If I'm reading all of this right.
So if you're using your vigor,
Yeah, which I will. There's no reason not to here.
that's going to reduce the challenge, right? Yeah.
I don't have to spend anything to use it this way. That's just what I get for having.
Perfect. So let's do it.
All right, cool. So let me get my 5 dice here.
I'm beginning to slip.
Don't worry, Dougie. I'm on the way.
I can pull them up whenever you like. I mean, if you want to do it yourself, of course. That's the prerogative of the player character.
All right, I have rolled. Oh my god, I rolled really well. I have so far 3 successes, but 2 of them were 10s.
Mazel tov.
So we're rolling these again. Oh wait, no. Yeah, 8 or higher is a success. That one's a 7. Okay, so that's a 9. So that's 4 successes total.
Wow.
I don't know if that's any. I don't think that's anything special, but I jumped real good.
You fucking jump into next week.
You jump so good.
I'll get Doug along the way if I can. If that's something I can do. I'll like spring over, do a handstand, grab his hands, pull him up with me, flip him over.
Right, fucking lights a joint halfway across the hole.
You know what? Actually, Vampire the Requiem does sort of incentivize the characters and also the DM to sort of treat you as just overpowered, crazy monsters. So,
I mean, we're vampires, so yeah.
yeah, why not? Marcus Fishman glides across the hole as though he's a fish, flipping his little flippers across some puddles very quickly with his flippery little hands.
That's what he does. That's the visual, everyone at home. Enjoy it.
With great vigor, Marcus grabs Doug by the wrists and flings him up into the air and onto the other ledge.
Well, I'm not sure I'd call it great vigor. It's only 1 dot.
Like a little bit more vigor than would be expected.
Yeah, like humans can't have this much vigor
Sure.
because they can't have it at all.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll flip over, pull him up, and give him a nice little pat on the back. Don't worry, Dougie. You'll get here someday.
I think I saw my undead life flash before my eyes.
How was it?
I mean, I've only been undead for a couple of months, so really it was a lot of me being in the woodshed.
Yeah, I can imagine. What would you rate it out of, like, what is it, 4 stars for movies?
I would give it like maybe like 4 stars. Yeah, I like working in the woodshed.
Marcus gives you a nod.
This was a good interaction. Thank you, Marcus.
All right, Freddy, you coming over?
Freddy's gonna try. He also has vigor, so that helps him because he sucks at everything else. Physical. Oh.
Boy, I wish I had vigor as a stat.
I'm sure you got other talents.
All right. That I have 1 success, which is all I need, thankfully. Freddy is a very classic vampire, or at least he feels like one, and he floats across, up and down.
Very good.
Does Fred have a cape?
Please.
He has like not a straight up 90s like trench coat, but it's like the extreme goths, like they had actual like vintage fabrics. Like he has like an old coat, like overcoat like that. So it's kind of long, but not like all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
He's got like the super tight trench coat, but with like the wizard wrist like sleeves.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Is it just me, or does his trench coat move like there's a breeze of wind in here? It's very impressive.
So you're telling me that Fred Allen is coming over here like a Kingdom Hearts character? That's what I'm seeing.
My God, so vampire.
I bet he gets caught in doorways all the time because of all your extra fabric.
Whoa, that was fun.
You know, Kingdom Hearts is very vampire aesthetics, now that you say it. Holy shit.
You know what? I think we've discovered something important tonight.
This is like outside of the Halloween Town episode. Like, whoa. Huh. Something to think about, listener.
I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts.
With that, your vampiric Matrix-like character turns to you and says, well, thank you all for humoring me there. I don't really have any plywood, so I appreciate that. If you just follow me, I have a small appetizer for you waiting in the dining hall. Feel free to satiate your hungers, your thirst there, and I'll go and collect my master.
Fuck, that's funny, dude.
That is funny. That's some good shit.
That's some prop fucking comedy right there.
If we ever transition to the video format, we should have some good prop comedy.
That's it. That's the content.
This show would fall apart immediately as soon as you add video to this. You kidding me?
No live shows.
Yeah, I don't know how this is ever going to transition to live.
I think that's all we're missing.
We could do a live show at some point.
I want to. This eventually becomes a live production.
Yeah, this will be we will do live shows. There will be messy.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to come to the convention, right? How much time do you need?
The second they say you have an hour and a half to do your adventure, and then that's where I have seizures on stage.
Find out next time on 2 Weeks One Shot.
Boop, 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 boop.